Sean stepped out into the blindingly bright daylight. He blinked and said aloud, "Well, now I know what a drunk tank's like, and I really don't think I like it." He would probably not be writing a song about this one. Hi, I'm Neil A. Yeager, and today I'm reading from my novel, Non-Hollywood. If you're liking this audiobook so far, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll get notifications of upcoming chapters, and I'll get bigger numbers on my stats. Thanks. This is Chapter 30, After Hours Club, a Van. Sean looked around and thought of his current situation. When the police had picked him up last night for public intoxication and public urination, they had taken him to the police station, which was, he now realized, at least a few miles away from the bar at which he had been arrested. And the bar itself was about 15 miles from where he lived. A cab ride home would cost a hell of a lot more than he had, and the network maze of buses that would be required was too much for his aching head to figure out. "Ah, hell," he murmured. Then, for no reason other than it was a place to go, Sean started walking in the direction of last night's bar. After what seemed an eternity of walking through the overly sunny streets of Hollywood, he finally arrived at the bar. To his amazement, there in the parking lot sat Mike's van, the Mobile After Hours Club. Sean slid open the van's side door and sunlight streamed into the van. Mike awoke and rolled over. "Whoa," said Mike. "It's morning already?" Sean looked at his watch and said, "It's not morning, it's almost 1:30 in the afternoon." "Really? Wow, I guess I got some sleep." "Well, I didn't," said Sean. Mike rubbed his eyes and said, "Sorry, I know it's hard to sleep in a van if you're not used to it, but it's better than a DUI and a night in jail." Sean just shook his head and said, "Dude, can we go home? I mean, I don't care if it's my home or yours. I just need to be somewhere that I can crash." Mike said, "Well, we'll go back to my place. I got a grill. We'll make some hot dogs or something." "Fine," said Sean, and he climbed into the van. After a few legs of freeway, they took the Ventura Boulevard exit. Sean looked out the window and watched the mini malls slide past. "Encino, eh?" he said. Then something occurred to him. "Say, isn't 1630 Ravello Drive around here somewhere?" "What drive?" 1630 Ravello Drive. Wasn't that in Encino somewhere? Or wait, maybe it was in Torrance." Mike said, "What the hell are you talking about?" "I'm talking about Buffy, One Girl in All the World. What are you talking about?" Mike shook his head. "I like you, Sean, but sometimes you really lose me." After a few more minutes of driving, the van made a left turn and started up one of the hills overlooking the valley. Sean looked out and asked, "We're going up this way?" "Yep." "Mike, this is where all the millionaires live." "Yep." "Mike?" "Yep." "Are you a millionaire?" Mike laughed. "Nope, I'm about $1 million short of that." "Okay, then why are we going up here?" "Because the one thing I do have going for me is that my brother is a good guy." "Okay, now you're the one who's lost me." Mike sighed. Then he began. 1975. There was nothing much in this area. My brother and I bought a piece of property for next to nothing because no one wanted to live all the way out here. Hell, we didn't want to live all the way out here. But like I said, it cost next to nothing. In 1978, I found myself with a serious cash flow problem, and I asked my brother to buy me out. He did, even though he didn't really want to, and even though it was financially tough for him, because that's when he was getting his dental practice going, and he was in debt for all that equipment that they need. He bought me out, but he told me that I could stay as long as I needed to. And I have. Since 1978? Yep. Wow. Well, I guess your brother is a good guy. Here I thought my brother was cool just because he taught me all the cheats to Street Fighter when we were kids, but damn, your brother's better. As Mike's old van labored up the hill, he pointed out the window toward the hillside littered with large, beautiful, expensive houses. Mike said, "There's all this here now, but when we bought it, there were only 3 houses on this whole hillside." Sean said, "Don't you just wish you had a time machine? I'd go back and buy huge sections of LA, just everything. I would especially want to own what Francisco Sepulveda ended up with. Then I'd have that long-ass street named after me." Mike lowered his voice to almost a whisper, so low that Sean had trouble hearing him in the van, and said, "A lot of things I'd fix if I had a time machine. A lot of things." They drove up the hill, past all of the ornately gated driveways, finally pulling in at a simple gravel drive which snaked its way back down the hillside through unlandscaped scrub-brush and giant oak trees. Sean asked, "So this is your property?" "Well, my brother's property, yes." "Jesus, it's huge. There must be a few acres here." 10. 10 acres? 10 acres in LA? Wow, that is killer. I'll bet your brother's had some good offers on this." Mike replied, "He gets good offers on it all the time." They pulled up and parked beneath a weathered old carport. Mike said, "Yeah, the property's great, but you can see that the house isn't much." As he spoke, Mike pointed to the small shack nestled against the hillside. But in all fairness, it wasn't much in 1975 either. They walked inside, and yeah, it wasn't much. Not so bad that it looked as though it should be condemned, but it certainly looked used. Actually, a coat of paint would probably have done wonders, but Sean doubted that such a thing had happened since at least the 80s, if ever. Mike said, "There's a spare bedroom in the back, but to be honest, the couch is a lot more comfortable than that old bed." Sean said, "I just need somewhere that I can close my eyes. I'm pretty far past exhausted." "Be my guest," said Mike. You want some ice? Your face still looks pretty punched up." No thanks." Sean lay down on the couch, took a glance out of the picture window, and had just enough time to think that the view was nice before he fell fast asleep. Sean opened his eyes to a million colorful sparkles. He was momentarily disoriented, unsure where he was, when it was, and whether he was asleep or awake. But the sparkles were mesmerizing. He sat up on the couch, rubbed his eyes, and realized that he was looking out through the picture window at the lights of the San Fernando Valley at night spread out below him. As far as he could see, rows and clusters of glittering city lights, most white, but other colors mixed in. His entire field of vision filled up with the beauty of little glowing sparkles from the valley below. "Something else, huh?" said a voice from somewhere. Sean looked around the blackened room until he spied a small orange glow. The glow floated up into the air and stopped at a point where it illuminated Mike's face as he took a drag on a cigarette. Mike continued, "It's ironic, actually. That view keeps changing, too. Down there, they just keep building more and more and cramming things in more and more, and all the while spreading outward more and more, which makes it uglier down there while looking more beautiful from up here." "Yeah, it's beautiful," said Sean in a lilting sort of voice. Then he said, "I'm going to kick that vampire boy's ass."